सिर्फ मेरे को शायद स्कीम अच्छी अगर वो भाव अगर वो भी होगा ना ये अपना जो उस दिन हमने यूज किया था शास्त्रिक के लिए सात्विक के लिए वही बड़ा है वो भी चले वही इसमें डाला हाँ हाँ Okay, good morning everyone. We will be starting in a minute. I'm seeing people are joining in, so I'm just trying to give it a couple of minutes before I start. And then I will also, kind of explain what I'm going to do today. I assume we'll have a student joining from Pune, Bangalore today. Calcutta, Pune, Bangalore, and maybe another couple of campuses. We have a very interesting lineup of dishes today that we're going to do, and then we'll get going in a minute or so. So I'm giving myself 2 more minutes before I start. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon to everybody who's joining in. One more minute, and then we go cracking. Just one more minute. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
ये भी हो सकता है ना पूरा इसी को सोखा ना पड़ेगा हमें लेकर जल जाएगा पूरा
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all home, doing some constructive things at home and following the rules and regulations set by the government on social distancing. I hope you're all taking care of your health and in your respective cities, of course. And I hope you are also regularly attending the interactions and classes that we are supposed to be doing with the college. And today, as a part of my series on Indian basics, Indian curry basics, we'll be doing two gravies today. We did in the first session, we did a Haryani gravy, and we did yellow gravy. In the second session, we did a brown gravy, and we did kadai masala, kadai gravy. And today we are going to do makhani, and we are going to do a shahi gravy. So I will start with the makhani, and then progressively I will go to the shahi gravy. And initially, we will start these gravies. So there will be two parts of the class basically. We'll start with preparing the basic gravy and cooking the basic gravy, tell you a little bit about the basics, etc. And then we further move towards the preparation of the second gravy. And while the gravies are cooking, I will start, preparation for the dishes that we are going to do with these two gravies. So, let me demystify the whole process. So, first we will be doing a makhani, followed by a shahi gravy, which is the white gravy, or you can call it, some people call it, white gravy. Some people call it shahi gravy. Some people call it white paste. So basic white gravy. And then after these gravies are cooking, I'm going to make a chicken tikka butter masala, or you call it butter chicken, or whatever you wish to call it. And then with the white gravy, I'm going to do methi malai matar with a little bit of paneer. So it's going to be paneer methi malai matar. That is what I'm going to do with the gravy. So primarily two mother sauces or the mother gravies, and then we'll convert these mother gravies into two different dishes. Okay, to start with, we will first do the makhani. And for the makhani, what you do is, you all know makhani is primarily a tomato-based gravy, which has primarily, if you look, as far as is very peculiar of Indian cuisine, is that there are not many standardized recipes, and we generally talk about a word which is talked about very regularly by people, which is the word authentic. Okay, but then I'm sure all of you know that in the Indian cooking, as the place changes, as the area changes, as a property or as a chef changes, so there are a little bit of variations in the basic recipes, all basic recipes. But primarily two, three things remain the same. So though you basically don't, you can tamper with the proportion of the ingredients that you put. For example, like a makhani, in my whole career of 30 years, I have only seen one variation of the makhani as far as the raw material is concerned. That is hare tomato ki makhani, which is makhani made with green tomatoes. So other than that, all the makhnis that I've seen all across my career have remained the same, where the main gravy, where the main ingredient, main hero of the dish is the tomato, and uh, at certain places onion, little bit of onion, and in certain places no onion at all. And then what are the other ingredients? The other ingredients are ginger, other ingredients are garlic, some whole spices, and some after some whole spices. Then later on, while the gravy is cooking, we add some powdered spices, because you all know makhani made from tomato is pinkish in color, or you can say reddish in color. So it needs red chili, whole red chili. You can generally use Kashmiri chili, because Kashmiri red chili, because makhani is not supposed to be spicy. So Kashmiri red chili works extremely well. And then you have another couple of spices like cumin powder, coriander powder. Generally, not many people I have seen putting turmeric into it, because then turmeric will change the tint of the sauce. And so this is basically a very basic, you can say, makhani gravy. So what I'm going to do is, I have just cut the chopped the tomatoes into a very very basic chop quarter. I had smaller tomatoes, so very small quarter. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to initially add in a little bit of oil into the pan. Okay, and you will also see a lot of recipes where initially the spices are not cooked, but then I always feel that if you don't put whole spices into the pan at the time in the beginning, you won't get the best effect of these spices. So I generally like to put the whole spices. You will see many recipes where it says, after you put in the tomatoes and the onions, you put in the green cardamom, you put in the clove. Cloves can work, but things like green cardamom, cinnamon, etc. does not work too well till the time they are not put into the tempering or the tadka. So that if you remember, if those of you who have checked, who have seen the videos that I have done earlier on Indian gravies, I have said that whenever you do tempering, you should always do it on medium heat, because at very high heat, what happens is the spices will burn on the outside, and they are not going to leave the essential oils into the oil, which is the primary reason of why we use make a tadka, so that all the flavors are extracted. And so what I have done is, I have put some cinnamon, 1-inch piece of cinnamon. I have put around 5 green cardamoms here. I have put a tablespoon of whole cumin, and I have put around 4 cloves into it. Okay, so they are crackling now. The flavor has already started coming in, and I'm going to put in the tomatoes. You can hear the sizzle. I'm going to put in the tomatoes now. Okay, I also have some pre-chopped tomatoes here, some pre-chopped small tomatoes. I'm going to add that also into this. That will make a little more of the gravy, and I'll let it cook for the time being like this, uncovered. And later on, when I finish putting all the ingredients into this, I'm going to cover, because that way we are going to basically increase the speed of the cooking. Right. So this goes on a fairly high heat now. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, As I told you, there are some recipes which are going to tell you not to put onion into the makhni. But what I have seen personally is if you don't put a fair amount of onions in the makhni, the gravy remains very crumbly. It does not become the kind of creamy gravy that you're looking at. And the butter chicken, if you pick up from the butter chicken, you will see that the tomatoes have split. Okay, so what I do is very small quantity of onions, just 2 onions. I'm cutting slices. You can also chop. I will just cut these slices into, just for fast cooking, nothing else. I can also cut it like this and then so our garam masala, whole garam masala is gone in, our tomatoes have gone in, and our onions are now going in. And remember, we will be finishing. There are many schools of finishing a makhni. There are a lot of people who use honey as finishing because they want it little sweeter. There are people who use sugar. There are people who do not add any sweetness because the sweetness is generally generated by the onions that we put in. I always like to use honey or sugar only when I taste the makhni, when my basic gravy is ready. If I taste a basic gravy and I realize that it requires some sweetness, then I will add in some honey. And if I feel that the tomatoes and onions have given enough sweetness to the gravy, then I'm not going to add any sweetness to the tomato. Okay, now the next thing that I'm going to put in is the ginger and garlic paste. It is an in-house made ginger and garlic paste. You wash the ginger and garlic, you soak it first, you wash it, peel, and after peeling, then you just mix half of garlic and half of ginger. And I'm putting in around 1.5 tablespoons of ginger garlic paste in here. I'm taking 2 green chilies and putting them just to give a little bit of a spice to this sauce. I'm adding in some ginger garlic paste and some green chilies. Just 2 green chilies for almost 750 grams of tomato and around 200 grams of onion. So let it cook. Okay, one more thing that I love to put into the makhni, and which is accepted, which was an accepted norm in many kitchens, is to add the coriander root into the makhni to change the flavor profile of the flavor of the gravy. So what I'm going to do is I have washed this coriander. I'm just going to chop it. Don't put whole coriander leaf. In any case, we have to strain the gravy later, but still it always helps, because then otherwise you will have strings. So just 2 sprigs, 3 sprigs of fresh coriander, and coriander stems I have put into. No greens. Greens will blacken because there is a lot of tomato in this gravy, so they will blacken. So I'm just leaving it like this. And at this stage, I'm going to add a little bit of salt to hasten the cooking. Remember, I will have to cook the gravy later, and I need to know how much salt I have added. I will also add a couple of bay leaves in here. These also can be put in the beginning, so that they also give some flavor to the gravy. Okay. So I'm covering this because it's going to settle down. It's going to take some time to cook. So in the meantime, I'll keep on stirring it. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the other gravy now. The other gravy is shahi gravy, or you can call it white gravy. You can also sometimes call it korma gravy, whatever you want to call it. So basically, what you do is you take onions and you slice them, or you can also chop. Okay. I'm slicing it thin because I want it to cook fast. Okay, so about this gravy, we will have basically 4 major ingredients in this gravy, depending on where in the country you are making this gravy. So we know, every one of us knows 3 onions and broken cashew nuts. Why I'm saying broken? Because nobody puts whole cashew nuts into a gravy. It does not make any sense. And then there is this mixture of seeds which we call charmagas, which is generally cucumber seeds, pumpkin seeds, and seeds from many other, sometimes also watermelon seeds, etc. So it is called charmagas. So charmagas is also a kind of traditional ingredient for the white gravy. And then, of course, the garam masalas, but those ones which are not very pungent. Okay, so a little bit of cinnamon can go in, a green cardamom can go in, a couple of cloves can go in, and then depending on where in India you are cooking this white gravy, there are some ingredients. For example, if you are down south, you may see some people putting in a little bit of coconut into it towards the end. If you are, let's say, in the east, you will see people even in UP putting in some khaskhas into it. In Bengal, they call it posto. In UP, etc., it's called khaskhas, which is the poppy seed. And in Lucknow also, I have seen people putting in poppy seed into the white gravy. So this is our sliced onion. So what I'm going to do differently in the sliced onion in this gravy is I'm going to add a combination of oil and ghee into the pan. Just a couple of tablespoons of ghee and 1 blade of cinnamon, 2-3 cardamoms, 2 cloves, okay, and some cumin. Right, a little bit more cinnamon for flavor. Right, so and now the onion goes in. Okay, normally if I was, let's say, if I was making a gravy which I would want some color in, so I would probably have put some, put the ginger garlic paste in the beginning if I wanted some color. So you can see that the makhani has started, boiling, simmering. Actually, I can really smell it. It is a combination of these ingredients. Okay, and maybe a little bit more oil in here. Wonderful. Okay, so what I've done now is I have with me cashew nuts which I have soaked for some time. So I'm going to add in some cashew nuts here. So I had almost 500 grams of onion. So I have around 100 odd grams of cashew nut. I'm putting around 70 grams of charmagas, 60-70 grams of charmagas, a little bit more. Okay, and I am putting poppy seeds, just around 10 grams of 10 grams of poppy seed I'm putting into this, and I just saute it a little bit. and I will add in a little bit of salt and just a little bit of a sauté. Just to, I don't want any color on this because this is a white gravy. It has to be clean and white and does not need to have any specks of brown, etc. So I will just let it saute for a few seconds, a couple of minutes maybe, as the onions settle down a little bit. And then what I'm going to do is, then I'm going to add in some water and I'm going to cover it. Just a little bit of a salt, just that to let the onions settle down. You all know that onions are a dehydrating agent. They dehydrate the vegetables. That is why whenever you want the onions to caramelize faster, whenever you want the onions to cook faster, you will add in a little bit of a salt at home. So this is a hack actually for if you want the onions, etc., to cook faster. Okay. Now again, a little bit of spice, green chili. I'm going to add 4 green chilies in here because there is going to be no spice in it. Maybe a little bit of black pepper if you want later on. Please understand there is a lot of difference between spicy and hot. So we want a little bit of heat. That's why we put green chilies. The spices are already there. The cardamom is there. The cinnamon is there. The cloves are there. So that is going to give that spiciness to the gravy, not heat to the gravy. Okay, and just a little bit more cooking in here, and then I'm going to add in the water. Right. So that was the start of both the gravies. So very simple, a combination of 3-4 major ingredients, a little bit of spices. Okay, and as I told you, there are a few variations of these gravies, which you will hear. Some hotel, depending on the hotel that you're going, depending on the chef with whom you're working. So there will be a little bit of variety to these gravies as far as the combination of ingredients is concerned. But in the end, most of it remains to a large extent the same. Most of the major gravies, most of the major ingredients remain the same. So not too much of water. I don't want it to become very thin, so just a little bit of water and just one boil, and I'm going to cover it. You may or may not put some coriander stems in this, right? Like I put into the makhani. We'll not put because we are adding methi in the end. I'm making a methi malai matar or paneer methi malai matar with this gravy, so I'm not putting coriander because then coriander flavor is going to subdue the methi. So I'll just not put it. So this is how a basic white gravy, and I'm going to cover it, is started. So we will wait for these 2 gravies to cook. In between, I will be stirring them. I will not be. I don't want any of these gravies to kind of buno at the base. So I will have to continuously look that they don't get stuck. They don't lose moisture. Okay. Now, as I was telling you that for the makhani sauce, for the makhani gravy, we will be later on enhancing it and making it into butter chicken. Now, butter chicken, the gravy is getting ready. And what about the chicken? Okay, so what I have with me is chicken. This is chicken leg. I've cut it into a tikka shape. So tikka 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and more piece. Just what I have done with this chicken is I've cleaned it of any connective tissues, and then what I have done is I just cut each leg into 3 pieces. The bigger one, a bigger leg into 3 pieces, a smaller leg into 2 pieces, and then I will be marinating it. So first marination, what I will be doing is uh, the ginger garlic paste and salt. 1 tablespoon ginger garlic paste and some salt. That's it. And I'm going to marinate it. Always remember, when you have these gravies cooking, if your lid does not have an opening for the steam to come, so then what you need to leave some space here on the side. But because my lid has spaces for the air to come up, so this is marinated chicken. I'm keeping it aside. I will add in a little bit of liquid here, because I think it needs a little bit of a liquid, just a little bit. Okay, so I have reduced the heat a little bit. Now let it cook to a simmer. The onions have also started kind of boiling, and I need the onions to lighten up. They will become little white, and they will also become very soft and plump. That is when I will remove them, cool them, and after cooling them, we will blend both these gravies, strain them, and then of course we are going to convert them into our dishes. Right, so the first marination of the chicken is done. I'm going to go and prepare the second marination. Now, what is the second marination? You all know a basic tandoori marination. Okay, so what I have here is I have some dahi, a little hung yogurt, which I have just whisked nice and creamy, no lumps, and some Kashmiri chili powder and little spicy chili powder, very little, some garam masala powder, ready-made garam masala powder, cumin powder, a little turmeric, very little turmeric powder, just to lighten up the color, coriander powder, okay, and just a little bit. And because we've already marinated the chicken with ginger garlic paste, I'm not going to add any more ginger garlic paste into this. I'm only going to add some salt. Now remember, if you're making a chicken tikka per se for serving as a starter, what you can do here is, always remember, you should always put a little bit of a starch into it. So what we do is, generally the best is roasted chana powder or roasted besan. Okay, just put a little bit of roasted besan. You can do it at home. Put in a lot of oil, put in besan into the oil, cook it for some time till the time it bubbles, close it. Don't cook it too much so that it changes color, and let it cool down. After some time, you'll see the oil will separate that oil, the besan will remain in the bottom. Take it out, put it into a box, leave it in the fridge. And whenever you need to make tandoori marinations, take it out, mix it nicely, and put it into the tandoori marination. But today, because I am going to serve it in the gravy, so I am not too bothered about the stuff, the marination completely sticking to the chicken. Initially, we require when we put it into the oven, and later on, because anyway the gravy is going to take care of the flavor and taste of the chicken. Okay, so we have this marination ready. We keep it on the side. I'm not going to mix it now, just a little bit of oil. Salt. Some people also add kasuri methi, roasted kasuri methi into this. But because we will be putting kasuri methi into the makhani in the end, so I'm not going to add any kasuri methi. Right. So marination ready. Marination number 2. And what we're going to do now is with this dish, the white gravy, we are going to cook we're going to cook methi malai matar, as I told you. So what I'm going to do is, we have some green peas which we have soaked, frozen green peas. We have soaked them, and I have some paneer here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this paneer into very small cubes and keep all the mise en place ready. Very small, not very big, almost a little bigger than the green peas. So what I'm going to do is, before I put this paneer and green peas into the gravy, I'm going to saute them a little bit in a pan with some whole spices, and that is going to give a little bit of a flavor profile to the paneer inside. Otherwise, paneer, because of the protein, it seals itself and then you can't taste anything. So this is for the methi malai matar. We have some kasuri methi here. We'll use that kasuri methi. If you can manage fresh methi, that is also great. So what you can do with the fresh methi is just take the fresh methi, cut it a little bit, blanch it, and after blanching the fresh methi, squeeze out the water from it, and just when the dish is getting ready, put it into the dish and then utilize it. It gives a wonderful flavor. But today we are going to use kasuri methi because of the lockdown. I think we have not been able to manage. So by the time I am ready to put it in, I can also see, in case I can get some methi, I will add that in. Okay, so what is happening is now slowly, steadily, the sauce in here, the water in here is reducing. So I will, the tomatoes have yet not subsided. So I'll add in a little bit more water into the makhani. Little bit more, just a little bit more. And at this stage, what I'm going to do is, what makhani is known for is the makhan. So what I'm going to do is, at this stage, I'm going to add some amount of butter into this for the flavor. Okay, just a little bit of butter, depending on the quantity of the tomatoes that you're cooking. I have added in some butter. So this is also, when you emulsify the sauce, when you emulsify this gravy in a mixie, what is going to happen is, it's also going to help the creaminess of the sauce, of the gravy. Okay, so here it goes. And okay, the onions have also started now. They've also started, softening up a little bit. I'm also going to add a little bit of water in here. Just a little bit of water, so that the whole thing comes together. And okay, for the white gravy, it's very, very important that the onions soften up. If the onions don't soften up properly, what's going to happen is, when you blend them, they are all going to be separate. They're almost going to be, a mass of onions and a lot of water. So the water has to go, and of course the onions have to become soft. Okay, so I come back to my chicken here, and I come back to this marination. So what I'm going to do is, just squeeze the chicken a little bit, squeeze that extra liquid, put it into the second marination. Normally you can marinate it for 1 hour, 1.5 hours. That will be great, and because that way the flavor is really going to go inside the chicken. That extra liquid has come out because we added salt into the marination. Yes, so the tomatoes are almost there. The tomatoes are cooking faster than my expectation. Wonderful. Okay. So the chicken goes into the marination. So what I'm going to do now is uh, I have this oven which I had preheated to 180. I'm going to kind of increase the temperature first to around 220, and then I'm going to put this chicken in on skewers. You can cook in tandoor if you want. Okay, just to show it to you, I could have cooked it in advance, but I wanted to show you. So let me taste this before I. Okay. Okay. So what I have here is I have soaked some skewers, uh, and I'm going to put these skewers into the oven and shape it, because that is going to give a good shape to these tikkas. Otherwise, what would have happened is it becomes very flat, and then they don't look like tikkas anymore. Okay, so roll the tikka, double it up, and put it into the skewer. If you had iron metal skewers, you could have done it. Leave some space in the center. Just fold it and put it in. Be careful about your fingers. Okay, great. So I'm going to leave it here because I'm going to add some more, just a little bit reduction of temperature here. This is okay. This is fine. Okay, one more skewer. Chef, could we manage some fresh methi?
Fresh methi powder here.
No,
Kasuri methi powder.
I have. Thank you.
Fresh methi powder आया नहीं sir.
It's okay. One. So one more. Just one more. I'm going to add. So because I am not using metal skewers, I'm using two shashlik sticks actually, and I'm going to cook it in the oven for 25 minutes, 30 minutes basically. And in the meantime, we're going to finish our gravy. Once the gravy is ready, the chicken tikka is also ready on the other side. Okay, just a little bit more of marination on top. Okay, so one very important fact that you need to remember is that whenever you make butter chicken, it was always kind of a routine that you would put yesterday's chicken, tandoori chicken into it, because that had developed in flavors, and the makhni was ready. You just took some yesterday's butter chicken which was left in the restaurant or left at home, tandoori chicken, and you would chop it up into pieces and you would put it into the butter. If you have Wonderful. That makes for a great butter chicken. But if you don't have, then even fresh one can do like we are doing today. So our onions is also started to blacken a little bit. We need to cook a little bit more. But the makhani is almost ready. So all the tomatoes have settled down. We have all the liquid almost now drying up. So what I'm going to do is at this stage I'm going to switch off the gas. I'm going to take out the bay leaf from this. I put in 2 bay leaves and I'm going to remove the bay leaf from here. And that's it. I'm going to get a puree made of this. So you can see, if you can see that, it has toned down. All the tomatoes are very pulpy. The onions are completely gone, and I'll give it for taste. Okay. In the meantime, I put in the chicken into the oven. As I told you, I have preheated the oven to 160. I have increased it to 220 now. And I'm initially going to leave it at 220. And then I'm going to reduce it again to 180 because I want it to cook for a slightly longer time. So what I'm going to do is, leave some space in between, and almost in the middle of the oven, I have put these. And initially, I'm going to put it for 30 minutes, and then later on, I will see if I can increase it. Facility. So we are lucky. We have managed some fresh methi in the lockdown. Okay, so I will try and utilize this fresh methi in the methi malai matar that we are going to prepare. Okay, so my oven is at 230. It is on the convection setting, and it is now at 35 minutes. In case I require, I will increase the temperature again later. Okay. Makhani is ready. This needs a little bit more water. Just a little bit more for great. Okay, so what we do now is once the makhani has been blended, we need to strain the makhani. We don't want any tomatoes there. We don't want any remaining spice there in the gravy. You all know makhani has to be really creamy. So what I'm going to do is I will be using a strainer like this to strain the makhani. And once the makhani is done, then we are going to start cooking it further. We'll cook it further, and at that stage, what happens to the makhani, because it's become really plump, it will start bubbling a lot. So we'll have to cover it, and then of course we will add in some more spices, etc. into it, and then we will cook it. Okay, at that stage now, it's very important to remember that we had added some some green chilies into it. So what I'm going to do is initially I'm going to put in some red chili powder, some dhania powder, a little bit of cumin powder into the oil before I put in the makhani. There is another way of doing it is while you are cooking the makhani, you can actually put in all these spices, but you do not know what you are using in the makhani because it's a basic sauce, what you are using it for later on. So I would generally add in the powdered spices in the second phase. Okay, the same is the case with the white gravy. We'll add in the spices in the second phase. Okay, now luckily since we have the methi, what I'm going to do with the methi is I'm going to chop it up and I'm going to blanch it, and this is more than enough that we need. Okay, so I will just remove. This is already been washed, so we remove the roots and give a nice chop to it. This is going to completely add a different paradigm. The kasuri methi also has a fantastic flavor, but this will give that nice freshness to the gravy, the sabzi that we're making, methi malai matar. We're also going to add some paneer into it today. So methi malai matar paneer. It will be finished with some garam masala and it will be finished with some cream. So you will have two textures, the makhani, which is again very creamy, and then we will have a white gravy, which is again very creamy. So for the blanching, some water in here. Very basic blanching. We don't need to. We've already chopped it, and I'm going to put this at the highest. Cover it so that it boils very fast. One more stir, I think final stir for the white gravy. So what happens is, the best way to know whether your onions in the gravy, white gravy, are cooked or not, you just take the onions, try and pick up the biggest speck of the onions and press it, and if it comes off like this, that means the onions are cooked. And of course, you will automatically get that cooked smell of the onions. You generally know that onions, when they are raw, they smell a different way, and that nice sweetness from the the onion starts coming as they cook. Okay, as the water boils, the makhani is getting ready. It's going to get into the paste. In the meantime, the chicken is also cooking. So let me prepare some chopped coriander in the meantime, and I also need some chopped ginger for putting into the methi malai matar. Always remember, cutting coriander for garnishing is very important, that it has to be very fine, and it can't have too much of stems, because then they will always be an obstruction while you are tasting it, while the guest is tasting it, especially if you are not straining the gravies after putting in the coriander. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just assemble the coriander here like this and chop it very fine. It's almost like a combination of chopping and chiffonade, because the leaves are getting chiffonade and the stems are getting chopped. Right. So chop coriander. And some chopped ginger. So for chopped ginger, very simple. I have peeled the ginger. I am cutting it into very thin slices. I will also use a little bit of chopped ginger in the julienne ginger in the garnish, and chopped ginger I will use in cooking of the methi malai matar. Okay, first I will chop and then I will slice. Okay, then we go to the julienne. Okay, so I have julienne ginger. I'm going to put it here, and I have chopped ginger. And leave the chopped ginger here on the chopping. Okay, the water is boiled. I'm going to put in the methi and let it blanch. Never cover a green vegetable when it's cooking. The onions are also ready. And here I have some ice. I'm going to remove the methi on the ice, and this has a very wonderful earthy flavor. The methi, the fresh methi. Right. Okay, so the white gravy is done. If you can see, the onions have turned into, it's almost a rough pulp. The cashew nuts are very nice and soft. The poppy seeds and the char magas I can't even see. So this is the white gravy done. So we're going to cool it down and we're going to blend it. Okay, this one, the methi takes a little bit more time than spinach to cook because the leaves are a little thicker. Okay, and once they are done, I'm going to take it out in a strainer. And in the meantime, we're going to start. Let's have a look at what is happening to the chicken. The chicken is also cooking well. And we are almost at a stage where we can start cooking the makhani now. But just before that, let me take out the methi. I have some iced water here. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this ice on top, and so that it cools faster and does not change the color. And I'm going to leave it behind in the meantime. Okay, a little bit of tidying up, and then we can start the cooking of butter chicken. empty of this pan. So the butter chicken first. Needless to say, butter. We've already put some butter in there already. Very low temperature. And I'm also going to add in a little bit of oil because I don't want the butter to caramelize. And what I'm going to do is, once I heat this butter and I add it in oil, so what I'm going to do is let it melt. Once it melts, I'm going to add in these spices. I'm going to add in the Kashmiri chili powder. I'm going to add in the dhania powder. I'm going to add in the cumin powder into it, and I'm going to switch it off and leave it. So what's going to happen is the Kashmiri chili powder is going to give me a lot of color. It's going to give me that rogan, okay, because it will infuse into this oil, and we will get some at very low temperature, not at very high temperature. If you do it at high temperature, these spices are going to burn. Now my butter is melted. So first I am going to put in the Kashmiri chili powder for the color, and I'm going to switch it off now. A little bit of cumin powder, just half a teaspoon of turmeric for better color, and 1 tablespoon of dhania powder. This goes in, and I'll mix it all together. As I said, very low temperature, probably the lowest of my induction, while the gravy is getting blended. Okay, so you can see that the rogan is building. The color is building in the pan. Okay, so that is the reason I do not put in the spices there into the sauce, because what happens is, if you put it into the sauce, then in the end when you're making the dish, you exactly don't know how much spice to put. Okay, so because I am making butter chicken, so I have just put in this according to the 1.5 portions of butter chicken that I am cooking. Okay, so let me assemble in my cream. I have my cream in here. I have already put in some butter in. Okay, one more important caution here. A lot of recipes also say that you can put cashew nut and char magas into the makhani. There are some people who do it for the creaminess, but then because the makhani cooks a lot, so what happens is these nuts, etc., have the tendency to become bitter, right? So it is possible that in the event of increasing the creaminess, you will be compromising on the quality and taste of the makhani. Okay, so it's nicely leaving the color into the oil, and I will have my makhani now. I will use. Okay, just a moment. I added some little bit of ice into the makhani because it was still not cool enough. So it will generally come out of the mixie. Now it's fine, I think. Now. ऊपर वाला जो छेदा है उसको छोड़ दीजिए ना ऐसे. Okay, so always remember, this is also a learning. Whenever you are blending something very hot, or actually you should never blend anything very hot, but in case there is an emergency like this, so always remember there is a small hole on the top of the mixie lid. You should leave that hole open, okay, so that all the steam, extra steam goes up. Don't cover it with your hand, because then it's going to burst. Where will the steam go? So it's a very good learning. I'm sure many of you who have gone through the industrial training have learned this already, and you had gravy all over your body. Okay, so always avoid this, and especially if you are now in a situation where the mixie does not have a rubber ring, etc., washer, then what you do is you take a wet duster and you put it on top, and then you hold the cover of the mixie from the side and you blend it. So what happens in case there is a splash, it's going to fall, come onto the duster, the wet duster that you put it on. Yeah. Okay, so finally our makhani is blended, right? So we are going to put it directly into this. We already have a nice color, but of course the spice mix that we put into this is going to really enhance the color. It's also going to add to the final taste of the butter chicken. And now comes, now we increase the temperature because I need it to cook, because there is no more, no more liquid in there. So basically the liquid has all evaporated. Okay, just a little bit. So what we did is we made the gravy in the beginning, and then we added in a little bit of oil and butter into it. We added a little bit of spice mix. You can see the color has already improved, and we will be actually balancing the color in the end with a little bit of cream. Okay, and of course some flavor by adding in kasuri methi. I'm going to toast some kasuri methi now, and while we are toasting the kasuri methi, we also need to keep some kasuri methi for the methi matar malai, where we will be adding kasuri methi as a flavoring. So what I'm going to do is very easy way. I showed last class also. Whenever you are toasting kasuri methi, always remember that it has to be done again at very low heat. Don't do it at very high. Just heat the pan, or if you have time, just leave it on top of the oven where you are cooking it and let it get dry. But it's very important that you don't leave it there for a very long time. It will become brown. Okay, so what I'm doing is just kind of heating the pan, and in the meantime the makhani is already started cooking. I'm going to cover it because it's going to splutter. The pan is getting warm. And I'm sure you must have all seen mothers. So when they work with kasuri methi, they will heat it up, and after heating up, you just rub it on your hands and it becomes a very fine powder. You remove all the sticks, etc., and then you use the thin powder. So I have just increased the temperature in here in the makhani, just a little bit more, and then I'm going to switch it off. Yeah. So there is that aromatic flavor in the kasuri methi which has started coming now. So I've switched off the gas, and I'm going to, just leave it here for some time so that it does not get heated more. And just keep on crushing it with your fingers. Take it on your hand and do like this. So what will happen is, after some time you will see that there are some sticks which are basically the stalks of the kasuri methi which will remain, and you can easily separate them. So I'm going to separate those stalks, and I'm going to take out the powder and put it into a bowl for later use. You can also do it first and just keep it in a jar and leave it for a longer time, but it should be dry. It should be a place where there is no moisture. Okay, so if you do like this, you will see that there are some stalks, etc., which I need to the makhani has already started bubbling. Okay, I'm removing the stalks from top, and kasuri methi powder goes in the. It is for our both dishes. We put it into the makhani also, and we'll put it as a flavoring in the methi malai. So this is done. As the flavor stays in this pan, what I'm going to do is, I'm also going to cook the green peas and paneer for the methi malai. I'm adding some ghee into the same pan because there is a flavor there in the pan, and I'm going to put in some cumin into this pan. Switch on. And green peas. I put in ghee, not butter, in there. Okay, some cumin and some green peas. Okay. The makhani. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, once the makhani is ready, I'm going to strain it once before I add in the chicken and the cream, etc., into it. Okay, so I will get my strainer ready. Just a little bit more of bubbling, and then I'll get my strainer ready. So cumin, green peas, and a little bit of roasted cumin powder I put after I cook the paneer in it. Just add in a little bit of paneer, and you remember we chopped some coriander. I'm going to add in some coriander in here, and I'm going to put in some cumin powder in here, and of course a little bit of salt. And this I am preparing for methi malai matar, methi paneer malai matar, and I will have our chicken is almost has been in the oven for almost half an hour, another 2-3 minutes, and there is going to be a flame. Okay, I'm going to strain the makhani at this stage, because after pureeing I did not strain it. I'm going to strain it at this stage because I wanted the spices and everything, the color, etc., come together. I don't want to waste all this. So I'm going to add in a little bit of water. And I'm going to cook it in the same pan again. Just a little bit of salt here. You know, the green peas, which come frozen, have to be softened a little bit because otherwise they will be hard in the center. So I'll just cook in for some time. I'll add in some water in, and they will blanch along with the paneer for some time, and then we will remove. I'm going to leave it in the same pan, and we're going to cook the methi malai in the same pan, or maybe we'll shift them into the curry pan. So I have taken whatever I could from the makhani. Right. Okay, switch on. I added some water, but it still is fairly creamy. Just a little bit of water here for all this to cook. This has also given a little bit of a flavor inside the paneer, okay? And of course, it's also going to cook the temperature less. Okay, at this stage, I will taste the makhani and see if there is any seasoning required. With some salt. I don't think we require any sugar. We don't require any honey. Okay, this is perfectly all right because we did not add too much of spice. I am adding some kasuri methi into it. Just a teaspoon of kasuri methi into it for the flavor. Okay, the tikka is ready. Perfect time. A little bit of charred texture is required because we were making tikka. Extremely well cooked. Okay, it's time for us to put in the cream. Put in a little bit of butter. Kasuri methi we've already added. So you see the color of the makhani transforming with the cream going in. And the tikka goes in. Let the tikka simmer in the gravy for some time. And in the meantime, all the water is soaked here. I'm going to switch it off. I'm going to leave it like that. In the meantime, tidy up a little bit. Okay. One final taste. Okay, you can hear our white gravy is being blended. So we are ready. As soon as we finish with makhani, we can go back to the white gravy. Our paneer and matar for the white gravy is also ready. So what I'm going to do is, just for the sake of good presentation, I'm going to take out these tikkas. Some sprig of green coriander, a couple of juliennes, and of course some cream. So that is our butter chicken. I'll get it closer to the camera and show. So this is the butter chicken. Makhani, you can call it murg makhani, you can call it butter chicken, you can call it murg tikka masala, with a little bit of variation here and there, lots of names. Okay. And the British call it chicken tikka butter masala, their national dish. So that's how it is. Okay, so we are done with our makhani. I'm going to the finalization of the other dish, which was white gravy or shahi gravy. I'm going to, as I told you, make methi malai matar paneer with it. And for that, again, we need some ghee, a tablespoon of ghee, and one more element that we would generally have put into the white gravy at the finishing, if you are making a raw basic gravy, would be khoya or mawa, what many people put in khoya or mawa. But because we were creating a dish directly right after now, so I did not put in the khoya at that time. I did not put any cream. So I will be doing that now. Okay, so this is our basic white gravy blended. Little bit of ghee here. I have already put in a lot of cumin in the paneer and the green peas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to straight away put in this gravy in here. And we will first cook in a little bit because this also needs to kind of cook. This is good enough temperature. Okay, so a little bit about the white gravy. So we used onions, we used charmagas, we used a little bit of posto or poppy seeds, we used cashew nuts. Okay, so it's basically six cashew nuts, six onions, two cashew nuts, one charmagas, and if you're putting posto, you can actually divide half charmagas and half posto. Okay, so what we have now for this is we also have a little bit of chopped ginger. Okay, and we have kasuri methi here for the flavor, and I also have the green methi which I have kept. So I have the green methi which we blanched earlier, and so I'm going to use this methi for the basic freshness flavor, and this I'm going to use as a garnish. So a little bit of cream into it, a little bit of seasoning at this stage. Perfect. Once it starts bubbling a little bit for a couple of minutes, then I start putting in the flavors in. First, I'm going to put in the fresh methi. So it started bubbling. Fresh methi goes in first because it needs a little bit more of cooking along with the gravy. Little bit of kasuri methi at this stage. We'll put some more towards the end. And in goes the paneer and butter with all the flavor that was there in that pan. So you have a good green color of the green peas. You have methi for the flavor. Okay, a little bit of this chopped ginger in for that bite, and some green coriander to add that freshness, that earthiness to the gravy. The seasoning is perfectly alright. I am just going to add some garam masala towards the end. But before that, as I told you earlier, I'm going to add in some mawa or khoya into this. You may or may not add khoya, but then it adds to that extra richness of the gravy, and a little bit of garam masala. Reduce the heat a little bit, let it all come together. Cream. Okay, just 2 minutes of cooking, and we are done with this gravy. Also, I just need some ginger juliennes to go very well. I can also have a green chili to add to that garnish, and a small wedge of tomato, because this is completely white and green. A small wedge of tomato will also do wonders for this dish. Okay, done. Serving dish. Some juliennes of ginger, a green chili, and chopped tomato to add that color. And this is methi malai matar paneer made from shahi gravy. So it has got the freshness of methi, freshness of coriander. It has got the flavor of the kasuri methi. It has got paneer and green peas, which are very earthy. And of course, it has got that rich white gravy. So a little bit of a recap of what we did today. We learned two gravies. One was makhani, and after doing the makhani, we also learned the white gravy, which is also called shahi gravy. So what we did is we initially understood the ingredients that go into the makhani, that go into the white gravy. We also understood that these are two fairly close textures to one another, creamy. The tomato is on the little bit on the acidic side, but we were lucky today. We did not have to add in any sugar, etc. So it was, the tomatoes were fairly sweet, plum tomatoes. Not too much of spice, only some whole garam masalas in the makhani, and the same in this white gravy also. The predominant vegetable, or the predominant base makhani, is tomatoes. The predominant base here is the onions, boiled onions, of course, not sautéed onions or tossed onions or brown onions. And then we added in the cashew nuts here. Here we added some onions for the texture. And then, of course, whole garam spices. We cook the both the gravies together, and then we cooled them, we blended them, and then we converted them into two dishes. In the meantime, I cooked some chicken tikka into the oven, like you would have normally cooked in a tandoor, for 25-30 minutes at 180 degrees. It was perfectly all right, nicely cooked. And then, if you want an additional flavor in this, you can smoke it a little bit before you put it into the tandoor or the oven. And then we finish these gravies. In the white one, we put some paneer, green peas, and some fresh methi. In the makhani, we put in some chicken tikka. Okay, so that is the end of today's session of Indian gravies, where we explored the makhani and the shahi. Thank you very much.